The NBA Finals is over.
See you later. It was fun while it lasted. Bye-bye.
Yeah. I watched the first half at my house, and then I watched the second half at a 6th grade choir concert on some bleachers.
Just hanging out, looking down at the phone, watching on YouTube TV.
My kid wasn't singing every song, you
No,
know,
you're
no
fine.
disrespect. I
Hey.
clapped at the end of
Hey,
every
hey,
song.
hey,
Great job.
At least you didn't leave early.
Hit that note.
Dude, it was effing hot in that gymnasium at that middle school yesterday. They had
Nothing-
no circulation going.
Nothing worse
Or
than being in a
ventilation.
gym in June. A high school, elementary school, middle school gym in June, it just gets hotter than balls in there.
It was awful.
Not fun. I missed most of the first half. Teddy Ballgame was having a rough night, and then I was like, all right, finally ready. Started the second half. Let's go. And then it was all of a sudden a 20-point game, and I thought, cool, am I
Yeah, I
turning
was
this
in
off?
the,
At least it turned into a good game, and I'm like, it was 51-50. I'm all excited. This is going to be
I still
fun.
don't know how that was a 1-point game at halftime. Like I was
No.
glancing and in the press box there at the old Hops game, and I was like, okay, Dallas came to play. Boston's kind of here we go. And then in the middle, I glanced down after going through all the pregame stuff as we got started. Glanced down, I'm like, wait, why is this a 2-point game in the middle of the
Kyrie's
second
having
quarter?
a great night. Luka's having a great
What
night.
is going on?
And there's no separation whatsoever.
Mine was the first quarter. The first quarter happened, and they came out from the gate, and they got it going. Kyrie was, amped up, hitting shots. First quarter ended. I'd have to bring it up and look what the final score was at the end of the first quarter. It was 31-30, and I was like, this is the least encouraging news. Like, if I was a Maverick fan, I'd be clinched. I'd be like, not great.
It was a great start for our 2 stars, and we don't have a lead to show for it. And that was the whole thing we talked about is Luka and Kyrie have to be special in order for them to win. They were special early
They
in
had
that game.
61 or what did they have combined?
They had
62.
I think it was
62.
60.
Yeah.
62 of their 99 points. And we've said that for a week. You got to go for 60 plus if you want a chance to win, and that still wasn't enough for them.
I was going to get to this at the top of the hour. I'd like to do a little peekaboo here at the 6:15 segment. On the note of teams here, now that the series is over, no team's ever come back from 3-0.
No.
Like I said after game 2, this Dallas team is not beating that Boston team 4 out of 5 times. It's not happening.
No.
I don't want to do the Monday morning quarterback reaction thing, but I do think people think this stuff when it happens. Is this Dallas Maverick? Can we look back at this Maverick thing and go a little fluky? And I'm not saying they didn't earn it. I'm not saying that they, Boston got through the East because all of these injuries happened, certainly.
Yeah. And the East sucks on top of that, too.
Well, the East isn't great, but I also want to give Boston their proper flowers. This is a really well-built team. But like Derek Jones, 0 for 1 from 3, 1 for 2 from the field.
Yeah.
Daniel Gafford made 3 shots. Hey, P.J. Washington, the guy that killed everybody on their way to the finals, 3 for 9. Like, you go through it. Maxi Kleber won't shoot the basketball. He's clearly not healthy.
Nope.
Tim Hardaway is, I think, a year away from being in the EuroLeague. Derek Lively was good for them. I would say that was the only other guy outside of the 2 that showed up.
It's not an offensive production reliability, though. Like, he's just grabbing dunks and throwbacks and alley-oops. Like, that's his game. He was really the only one to score off the bench for them.
But Derek Jones was hitting threes against everybody on the way here. P.J. Washington was an amazing third piece for them on the way to the finals. They have largely no-showed and done nothing in this series. And let's also remind ourselves, they did win 50 games. They were the 5 seed.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, matchups have been everything in the West. I don't know if this Dallas team, and it's a real bummer, like, to not win any game. Maybe they'll win game 4 to save face, and Boston will go home, and they'll win it in 5. But, like, is Dallas in the finals if they get Denver and not Minnesota?
Probably not.
I don't know. And so I think that's the thing that I was thinking about when Boston ran away with it at the very end there and hit some big shots. Jaylen Brown did, is not fluky per se, but like, is Dallas going to be in the West Finals and in the finals next year if this is the team? I don't know, because I don't know if Derek Jones Jr. is going to hit threes again or if he's going to turn into what he largely has been most of his career, which is what he is in the finals.
Yeah, I would use Boston as the example of what a lot of these other teams have to do. Boston has been knocking on the door for how many years now? How many conference finals? They obviously had the one appearance in the final and lost to Golden State. They've been close. They had an embarrassing loss in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. The Miami Heat were a play-in team, and they got up a 3-0 lead on them and then beat them in Game 7 on their own floor.
Yeah.
That was a bad, embarrassing loss for them. What did they do this offseason?
They
went out and
upgraded,
added Porzingis,
roster.
who is an elite player, but you don't need him to be a number 1 or a number 2 really on any given night. If he has it, that's great. If he doesn't, you can win without him.
Well, you can win without him playing at all.
And he didn't even play in Game 3 or throughout the course of the playoffs until the NBA Finals began. And then they went out and added the guy who I think he's not going to win the MVP, but he's like my MVP in this series, and it's Drew Holiday.
Mm-hmm.
Drew Holiday's been unbelievable. He was the best player on the floor in Game 2. He has been elite defensively. When Luka fouled out at the end of that game, watching Kyrie try and get any sort of separation from Drew Holiday, when you know that he is their only offensive he's the only guy that can create his own shot left on the floor. Drew Holiday just locked him up, said, "You're not going anywhere." I think he made one tough contested 2. That was it. They went out and added 2 guys who were massive players and have massive roles in this championship run that they're gone right now. That's the challenge now. Like Dallas, Luka and Kyrie are an unbelievable backcourt tandem. Now who can you go? You're clearly not there yet. Like Luka's getting dragged today. We'll get to that, I'm sure.
Yeah, we will.
But I think we're also losing sight a little bit of Boston is the far superior team in this, and it's not just Luka complaining or Luka not playing defense. It is not even close in terms of who the better team is.
Well, I'm with you there. Here's the tough part, and this is really what I'm kind of fascinated with from just an NBA standpoint. They are absolutely the tandem you want. PJ Washington didn't have a great finals. You still really like what he did.
Still
and what
a young player. Lively's only a rookie. He's going to get hopefully better.
Yes, like this isn't a blow-up situation at all, but you talk about adding things, and I'm certainly with you. They're going to give Kyrie that contract. Mm-hmm. They're probably going to give Luka the 3. Like, they're going to be $600 million committed to 2 players. And that's what's interesting about the NBA is it's kind of like the quarterback conversation
Absolutely.
in the NFL,
I was just going
right?
to say that.
These quarterbacks are getting 50, maybe close to $60 million a season, and the cap has gone up. But it's like, where do you manage the rest of your money at? How do you fill in your holes?
Yeah.
The Dallas Mavericks and a lot of teams in the NBA, Boston's going to be this way because Tatum is eligible, I think, this offseason.
They already locked up Drew, I think, earlier this year. Didn't they give him an extension as well?
They're going to be paying a lot of money, and it's like not going to be as easy to find what that third piece is or fourth piece is because of how much money 2 players are
I'd be curious, so maybe we need to find Bobby Marks here at some point between now and the draft and free agency. But with the reported increases in the new media deals coming, which I don't think kick in for a year or 2.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, have this officially been signed yet? Because what is Silver waiting for? Like, you got $2 billion plus from multiple entities.
I think the 3 have been signed.
It's official because I haven't seen the league announce it.
I think they're agreed to, and now I think the lawyers are actually drafting up all of the documentation and all of that stuff. And I still see discussion that maybe they'll add a 4th one to keep TNT in it and relevant just with a smaller package.
Yeah, Bill Simmons poo-pooed that on his pod. He said there's no way this is true. Your partners would not want to be opening up a 4th window. They're paying $2 billion plus per year. They don't want another entity in it.
But I would wonder if team GMs now are saying, okay, when are we going to get that one increase where we jump to the next level? Like it's like 25-30% jump in the salary cap when the new deal first kicks in. And can you manage, okay, if I got guys now, I want to sign them to the max deals now.
Pay the apron for a year, do whatever.
And maybe we're tight on the apron or the second level or whatever for a year, but then in 2 or 3 years when we get that relief, then we can add in a couple more complementary players on medium-sized, decent free agent deals and make it all work.
That's I think that's an interesting thing of watching the way that these teams operate and build going forward. And to kind of quote our own Crone Zone here, he said what a lot in his press conference last year when they had to trade Dame and then they went through their draft. Rookie scale contracts. They're going to become massive. And it's going to be, I think, a situation where this league is going to have to need a rookie or 2 to step up and give minutes.
Yeah.
Some teams higher minutes than others. But those rookie scale contracts, again, no different than what you see in football, they're going to matter a great deal financially for the way these teams are built.